Donald Miller Jr. stood in an Ohio courtroom in 1994. He was breathing, he was speaking, he looked the judge directly in the eye. Yet, he was told that, according to the strict letter of the law, he did not exist. This was no philosophical debate. It was a cold, statutory reality. A man forced to litigate against his own non-existence. The legal system had previously issued a ruling declaring him deceased, and because he missed a precise 3-year window to legally resurrect, the court ruled that the man standing before them remained a corpse. It was a biological glitch in the system. The law simply refused to acknowledge his beating heart, trapping him in a nightmare paradox where the breath in his lungs meant absolutely nothing to the administrative state. This condition is known as civil death, or Civiliter mortis. It's a state where a person possesses natural life, yet is considered legally dead, stripped entirely of the right to sue, to contract, or to exist within the institutional legal order. This phenomenon is an ancient weapon, a tool utilized by empires for centuries to erase the human soul from the public record. Because once the code is written, biological truth no longer matters.
The architecture of this legal erasure isn't some modern invention. Its foundations stretch deep into antiquity. It's a lineage of legal ghosthood that evolves from the tribunals of ancient Rome, passes through the brutal, unforgiving courts of the Middle Ages, and crystallizes in the jurisprudence of 1871.
The mechanism of this glitch was first formalized by the Romans. They utilized a relentless process called Capitus Dimunio to systematically downgrade a person's civil status. When Rome condemned individuals to the grueling, fatal labor of the mines or to isolated island deportations, they executed a legal downgrade so absolute that the citizen was legally extinguished long before their physical body gave out. The condemned suffered a civic honor impairment so severe it was known as infamia. You effectively became a shadow, excluded from voting, banned from making a will, barred from holding office. And this medieval relic survived the passage of centuries, mutating from an ancient Roman decree into a standard punishment for those serving life sentences in modern penitentiaries.
The courts of 1871 took this logic to its terrifying extreme. In the landmark case of Ruffin v. Commonwealth, the ruling declared that a convicted felon had forfeited not just his liberty, but all personal rights. The court ruled that, for the duration of his sentence, he was legally transformed into a slave of the state.
But the shadows grow even darker when we weigh the ancient concept of the outlaw. In medieval English common law, a writ of outlawry transformed a human being into caput lupinum, a wolf's head. By granting someone the legal status of a wild beast, the law placed them entirely outside its protection. Their property was seized as if they'd never owned it, and their life could be taken by anyone at any time without punishment.
Yet the architecture of legal erasure harbors a grim paradox. Even a dead man can become a legal weapon. In the case of Byers versus Sun Savings Bank, a prisoner attempted to wield his own civil death as a defense to escape a contract he'd signed for legal services. He argued that because he was dead by law, he lacked the capacity to be held to his debts. The court was forced to decide, can a ghost be sued by his creditors?
The answer issued by the court was a chilling yes. In the eyes of the rotten code, a person can be dead enough to lose all of their constitutional rights, yet miraculously remain completely alive to their liabilities. If a ghost owes the system money, rest assured, the system will find a way to collect.
But this weaponization of existence isn't confined to history books or isolated courtrooms. The architecture of legal erasure has expanded into a worldwide digital reality. Today, we inhabit a global necropolis of legal non-existence.
Consider the Kafkaesque nightmares of men who have become victims of a statutory ghost effect, where administrative records violently overwrite physical reality. In Romania, Constantin Reliu stood before a court after his wife obtained a death certificate in his absence. Despite standing right in front of the judge, he was told he was simply too late to be alive. In India, Santosh Marat Singh carried a sign reading, "I am alive," for 17 brutal years, after relatives legally declared him dead to steal his land.
The sheer scale of this phenomenon exposes the terrifying fragility of our documented existence. This isn't rare. Every single month, roughly 500 to 1,000 living, breathing people are erroneously killed by clerical errors within the United States Social Security Administration's Death Master Index. One wrong keystroke, and your life is deleted.
Once your number is posted to that index, a terrifying cascade of consequences begins. The data ossuary consumes you. Your credit cards go void at the register. Your employment status vanishes overnight. Your home ownership is nullified. The paper reality violently and instantly overrides the physical presence of the human being.
But the threat extends far beyond accidental clerical errors. The most chilling application of this doctrine is deliberate. It's the conscious weaponization of civil death by modern state apparatuses and dictatorships.
In 2023, the regime in Nicaragua arbitrarily stripped 317 people of their nationality and their public identity records. With a single stroke of a pen, activists, journalists, and everyday citizens were instantly erased from the institutional fabric of their homeland. Legally, they ceased to be.
This engineered statelessness forces individuals into a total legal non-existence. It brings to life Hannah Arendt's dark observation about populations who are systematically deprived of the right to have rights.
The consequences are absolute. It's the ultimate modern outlawry. Children are suddenly classified as legally without parents. Lifelong retirement pensions are instantly canceled. Decades of professional titles and university degrees are permanently deleted from databases. The state relies on the rotten code of its own statutes to systematically kill a person without ever firing a single bullet.
A vast, undeniable contrast has emerged between the physical beating heart and the statutory ghost. While we witness the de facto abolition of the physical death penalty in many jurisdictions, the life sentence and its accompanying civil death has ascended as the supreme modern punishment. A prisoner serving a life sentence in Rhode Island, for example, is still formally deemed by the state statutes to be dead in all legal respects.
The uncompromising reality of this biological glitch reveals a profound shift in global power. We live in a world where data has permanently become the master over the physical body. The law simply does not care if your heart is beating. History demonstrates that once you're entered into the data ossuary, a resurrection is a miracle the legal system is deeply unwilling to grant.
It forces a dark examination of our own fragile existence. Are we all just one clerical error, one keystroke, or one political decree away from becoming a wolf's head? We traverse the physical world, breathing, speaking, working, entirely unaware that we may exist merely as living ghosts, trapped within a system that infinitely prefers its subjects to stay dead.